Live from Julian's basement, it's podcadzo. You give us an hour, and we'll give you the world. The world consisting primarily of YouTube references and Steely Dan trivia.
I just love that podcast.
It's podcadzo.
All right.
All right.
I think you guys just gonna
sync. Yeah. Julian, why don't you
dive right in?
Kick this one
gifts
off.
too. So at some point,
Gifts?
I've got gifts to give.
Wow.
Okay.
Sheesh. Best
Already
guest
the
ever.
Best guest ever.
Now don't get too excited.
All right. We'll save it. All right. Well, we've been talking about this for a long time. Probably should have been on a lot sooner, but life is crazy and hectic, and the scheduling for the podcast is very weird and obscure. We only do it very specific times, and they're usually not times when people are available. But all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, my dad, Sam Ferrara, is on the pod. Air horns. The reason why this is important, I would say, I mean, like, anyone would like to have their dad on a podcast, I guess that's cool. But the reason why this is important is because this is a music podcast, and my dad has a wealth of musical knowledge, I would say both industry-related and just artist-related. He knows a bunch of bands, knows a bunch about the industry. He's been in the industry, or was in the industry, I should say, for a long time. And so, yeah, there's a lot of different alleyways and pathways we can go down in this podcast. But I think today should be, like, introductory, and then, like, talk about music mostly, probably.
Yes, this has been a long-awaited episode. And I want to talk about your radio career and just history with music in general first. But something I've been wanting to do on the podcast for a long time is just throw a list of bands at you.
Okay.
Yay
because I feel like every concert I've been to in the last 2 years, you've also been at that show.
I was hoping you were going to go there at some point because, yeah, and I mean, obviously you're much younger than me. I think it's so hip that you like know so many of these bands, and I've listened to the podcast obviously, and I mean I've been known to talk back to it in the car, like if I'm listening in the car, like
specifically
like you had one where you were talking about the Libertines, and yeah, it's just things
That's actually
like that.
banned on my list.
Okay. Let's get the list out then.
Should we do the list?
Do the list
off the
first.
start?
Yeah,
list
Well, the list
first.
is kind of long.
That's okay. We can do it quick.
Okay, we'll do it quick.
Rattle
we'll just
them
rattle
off.
off one by one.
Don't go too in depth. Like if you like them, say that you like them, but don't be like, oh, I like them because of this and this and this. Just yes or no.
I have in my notes app a list that I created several months ago called Bands for Sam that I've been adding to over the last.
And people should know, like we were just all at Viagra Boys.
Yes. Yeah. Which we talked about on the episode that was released today. We did a recap of the Viagra Boys. So first off, let's talk about Viagra Boys. When did you get into Viagra Boys?
I was kind of late to the party. I missed both Streetworms and Welfare Jazz. So I came in at Cave World, and I was like, oh, who are these guys? This is so different. And I don't even know what genre are people putting them in.
I've heard post-punk
Like
a lot, but
post-punk.
I don't know if that really does
makes
it.
sense.
That's what they're
justice.
closest
It's
to.
that whole, I guess, I don't know what you call that style of vocals, like this kind of spoken word, like kind of like Yard Act. And there's this new band called, well, I don't know how new they are, but they only have one album out. They're also, I'm pretty sure they're British. Get Down Services.
Oh, I've not heard of them.
I mean, you
I'll check them
can
out.
put them all, like just put the three of those in a playlist, and they're all sound like they're pulling from each other.
I was just playing some Viagra Boys at a venue I was working at over the house system, and someone came up to me and was like, "Is this a Tom Waits song?" So there's almost like because
What song was it?
It was off of Cave World's but it was one of the weird. I can't recall which song, but I feel like you can go into the like deep register kind of weird Tom Waits thing too. So
Right.
yeah.
I would never take him for Tom Waits.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a reach.
to the uninitiated, I guess.
To the
stupid. Anything goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
And I bought Cave World on
At the
vinyl
show,
at
yeah.
the show, and now I'm wishing I would have bought the first two.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's because when Cave World came out, I listened to it incessantly.
Yeah.
I think Cave
I'm
World's
like-
the best one.
It's my favorite. I
Yeah.
love the new one, Viagra Boys. But
It's a really close call between the two for
Yeah.
me. But
Yeah, and maybe it's because maybe it's just that I listen to it so much, and then because for the last week or so I've been listening to Welfare Jazz and Streetworms.
that
a
I
lot.
got in around Welfare Jazz through YouTube because they were doing these cool live performances on YouTube where they like played the whole album through. And so I found them that way. It was the Welfare Jazz. So that was my entrance, and I loved that album. But yeah, I think Cave World still
Favorite
stands
track
up.
of theirs across.
Ain't No Thief.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I love Return to Monkey.
Oh,
That's
Return to Monkey
Because
is great. Which was
mainly
also in
because
the
of the
set list.
last the thing about
Uh-huh.
somebody getting decapitated and the cleaning crew coming
Yeah, in a
and
Japanese office.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Ain't No Thief is special for me because I think potentially my favorite live performance of all time is their 2023 Lowlands set,
Okay.
that festival in the Netherlands. And they come out to Ain't No Thief.
Ain't No Thief, yeah.
Oh.
And
Okay.
it goes off so hard. It's just one of the best opening sets or openings to a set that I've ever seen. And I show everyone that
Okay.
performance when I'm showing them.
Lowlands?
Yeah,
Okay,
Lowlands
I'll have to
2023.
look
Yeah, the
for
whole
that.
thing's
That
on
one out.
YouTube.
Yeah, the whole set is,
I've
and it's
watched
great.
that. Yeah, it's a good show.
All right.
Okay, so that's Viagra Boys. There's really no order to this, and it's
Okay.
mostly British bands. I'll
Okay.
give you a heads up.
Now that's
So I kind of...
that's my lane.
Yeah, I know it is. We're both Anglophiles, I think it's
Yeah.
safe to say. So I think I'll start this by going down the Johnny Marr route, because we were both at the Johnny Marr show
Yeah.
almost a year ago, which was crazy. Or maybe more than a year ago. Time
Yeah.
flies.
No, it's probably been. Yeah, I
year?
think probably close
Yeah.
to a year. Yeah.
But that was a great show. So I have some Johnny Marr projects I wanted
Okay.
to bring up to you. First, this wasn't on the list, but just to get out of the way, were you a big Smiths guy back in the day?
I was a huge Smiths fan to the point where I had a Morrissey poster up in my bedroom.
Amazing.
It was like the very, kind of, I wouldn't say, it was not homoerotic at all, but it was him.
Important.
Weird. Now I'm thinking it's very
But,
homoerotic.
but the way I was raised, it worried my parents because it
Yeah,
was
right.
just Morrissey on it. Was like a picnic
Great.
blanket.
He's
Right.
fucking
Yeah.
gay.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Morrissey worried a lot of parents about
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
kids'
Oh, yeah.
sexuality.
Yeah.
That
No, I was locked in the very first time. I not to go too far into the weeds, but in high school I befriended a guy who had just phenomenal taste in music. And the reason I met him was because his sister and I were we were never really involved. They were Mormon.
Oh, yeah.
So their
okay.
disclaimer.
Did a lot of soaking.
I mean, we really what?
Nothing.
Another, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was the one that loaned me I think he loaned me Hatful of Hollow probably to start, and
Nice.
yeah, immediately locked in. Had to have everything. I went and bought all the imports, and yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, I got in to the Smiths through Johnny Marr first, actually. I was
Oh,
watching
okay.
Jules
So
Holland.
backwards?
Yeah, backwards. I was watching Jules Holland when I was in 8th grade, and Johnny Marr was on it. And I wanted a Fender Jaguar at that point more than anything, which Johnny Marr is very famous for
Yeah.
playing Jags, and he has his signature one. And he came on Jules
Which you now
Holland.
play, right?
Yeah, that's my guitar and Cadzo is the Johnny Marr signature Jag. So dreams do come true.
circle.
But anywho, he came on and was playing How Soon Is Now, and I loved the song, and I loved his look, and I loved the Jaguar. And my dad was watching. I was like, "Who is that guy?" And he's like, "Oh, that's the dude from the Smiths." So I went back from there.
Okay.
And then listened to the Smiths exclusively for 2 years at that point.
Another aside. Are we? I mean, I could go. I get it. I get that you have to play the hits for the people that pay the ticket price. But I don't know if I need to hear How Soon Is Now at a Johnny Marr show ever again.
I don't think I do either.
Was that your first time seeing him last year?
Yes, it was my first time seeing him.
So yeah, it's kind of like a one and done thing.
Well,
right?
see, okay, then you bring up a good point. Maybe that's the con to that. Like, I never got to see the Smiths. They were, after my,
and
long
extremely
after.
short-lived. Yeah.
Yeah, short-lived, and
Morrissey's just a fucking douche now. Like,
yeah, wow, his politics. Yeah, but so that just an opinion.
Yeah, I was very happy with this set though when we saw him.
No, it was a really good set, and more Smiths than I thought he was going to play.
And then songs from bands like The The Electronic, which are two bands on here. So here, I'll just rattle off all the Johnny Marr projects I had in here.
Huge The The fan.
Okay,
love
awesome.
Matt
I thought
Johnson.
you'd be into Matt Johnson.
Yeah, again, one of those. So his name was Jason, the gentleman I brought up in high school. He also turned me on to the immediately. Yeah, he loaned me probably Soul Mining, the first album.
Yeah.
Maybe not the first album. I think there's one before that. I always get confused, but yeah, again, immediately went out, bought everything I could, and have been. Did you go to that show?
No.
Okay.
I regret not going.
That was such a tremendous show because he played all of the Ensoulment in the first set. That was the whole album. First set, took a break, came out and played all the hits. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was showing to that.
Go ahead. Sorry.
How about no, you're fine. How about the Electronic? Were you into that?
Yeah, because I love New Order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big New Order fan.
Here, and I'm not surprised you're into New Order. Joy Division too? Were you into?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about later Johnny Marr projects like the Cribs, which he wasn't a founding member of, but joined later on. You familiar with the Cribs at all?
Oh, the Cribs. Yeah. No. I know the Cribs, but I didn't. Yeah. I didn't know Johnny Marr was.
He was only part of the band for their third and fourth album, but added a lot to their sound, I think. And then like Modest Mouse too.
Yeah.
Modest
Mouse. Yeah.
Okay, let's pivot on the. Well, no, let me go back actually. So I have so many bands on here. To go back to some Manchester stuff since we're talking about Joy Division.
Yeah, here we go.
Happy Mondays.
Yeah, I was, and your mom will attest to. I was a total everything in that whole, again, kind of, I don't know if it was short lived, but everything in that lane.
Yeah.
Happy Mondays, In Spiral Carpets. Yeah, Charlatans UK.
I know Charlatans UK. Those
yeah.
guys were
Who just put out a new album?
Yep.
Yeah.
Charlatans or Chameleons UK?
Charlatans UK.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how about
Chameleons? Yes.
UK? Yeah.
Yeah. Just yeah.
That
I've seen
album-
them like I missed them this last time because they played the night of, it wasn't Viagra Boys. It was the night of Elbow.
Oh, really?
And I mean, there was like
That's cool.
I had-
Elbow
I
and
had seen
Charlatans
Chameleons
were here.
like the last. So we have I have a friend, Rich,
Shout out,
whose
Rich.
brother Paul owns a goth store. It's like the goth store in Denver. It's been around forever. Fashion Nation there. There's a plug. Paul, you're welcome.
Shout out Fashion
out.
Nation.
Yeah. But he
Podcadzo bump.
knows Mark and went as far as having Mark play an acoustic set in his backyard a couple, 3-4 summers
I
ago.
remember hearing about that.
Yeah,
That's
and
so
and
cool.
Paul's got this beautiful backyard with a pool, and then like there's like the backyard raises up behind the pool. So he set Mark up, and he had a guitarist with him, and they did an acoustic set in this little pergola thing. And I mean, I was
That
like,
is so cool.
yeah, that was like that was ultimate.
I was trying to listen to Strange Times Here We Come. That's the name of that
Yeah.
Chameleons album, right? And it is so hard to. It's like not on streaming anywhere I could find anymore.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. It's like if you search Chameleons UK on streaming services, it's like they don't exist. It's kind of weird.
I wonder why. I wonder if it's a label thing or because it came out on Geffen. One of the record stores here in town just recently got a used copy of it, and I went like, oh, I got to have that because I don't have that one on vinyl, and it was the one that came with the second record in it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I went down just sight unseen, and I'm like, oh, I'm buying that.
Yeah.
Thinking it was going to be $20-$30. Guy had it priced at $100.
Yeah.
And the vinyl itself was kind of like
was it used or
it was used. Yeah, somebody had traded it in.
Damn.
Yeah,
$100 for
but I've
used
got
vinyl.
it. I mean, I've got it on CD, and the CD has all the bonus stuff on it anyway. But
yeah, cool. That was a copy. Yeah, I need to buy a physical version, I guess, because that was a huge. I felt like every band I was really into when I was in high school cited Chameleons UK as a huge inspiration, and that album specifically.
And that's why they're having this. He can't stop touring because there's been this. They put out a new album.
Yeah,
and
that's why I thought you were maybe talking about Chameleons when you mentioned Charlatans. Because I didn't know Charlatans put out a new album. I'll check that out, but I did listen to the new Chameleons.
Yeah, do you like it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I mean, not as good as the old stuff, but
never.
I was
right. The same with the Charlatans.
Yeah, totally.
I was listening to that at work today, and I'm like, they've got there's the organ, which made them, the whole Hammond B3 thing, and but
okay, I'll check out Charlatans. How about Black Grape, the Sean Ryder side project? Okay,
never really took off for me.
So their first album, Reverend Grape or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Reverend, something like that.
With the psychedelic artwork on it.
Yeah.
That's maybe, I have that one on vinyl, and it's maybe the album I've played the most for people when they come over, because I just think that's an incredible album and one of the best party albums of all time. Whenever we have people over, I play that front to back, because I do think it's the best party music ever created.
I have another one I should go back and revisit, I guess.
That one. I think that it's majorly slept on. And especially if you know the context of it, like what Sean Ryder was going through at the time. Everyone thought he was going to die, and instead he created this project with the dude Kermit, who's the rapper in the project, who was also a horrible drug addict at the time. And somehow they just created
for success.
an amazing
Those
album.
are a couple of people that I don't think should be alive. How did they make it?
Yeah. Sean Ryder released his biography a couple years ago, and it's an amazing read if you haven't checked that one out.
I mean, it sounds like you've heard all the when they were still on Factory Records, the whole second album. I mean, Factory gave them so much money.
Oh yeah, and
they just
long
kept
leash.
To pay for, because was it the Bahamas?
The Bahamas,
they went to the Bahamas to record it, and Factory just kept throwing money at them, and they never used it for recording.
They have a lot to answer for because they are directly responsible for the downfall of Factory Records and all that stuff. That movie, 24-Hour Party People, is a great little snippet into that world. Okay, staying in the Manchester lane, going a couple years forward, the Stone Roses.
Yeah, same. That
Big
whole
poster in the
anything you want to throw in the Manchester bucket, I had. I couldn't. I would go and ooh, what's this? Early recordings. Yeah, I got to have that.
The Fall.
Yes. Not so much. I mean, there's so much Fall. It's hard to. Yeah. But I would say I came in probably mid to obviously the end, because he's obviously no longer with us. But
rest in peace.
Yeah.
I was watching a Fall video on YouTube, and the top comment is something I think about all the time. I probably brought it up on the podcast, but some guy was like, when I was a kid, I was listening to The Fall in my room, and my mom came in and said, "This would be a great song if it didn't sound so terrible." Well, that's the perfect way to...
No, that's a good way to describe The Fall, I think. Yeah.
Okay, going back a couple years to kind of some post-punk stuff, but someone who I was really into and still am into, Ian Dury and the Blockheads.
Yeah, I know Ian Dury. I don't own any of Sans. I think I have I have a Stiff Records box set, and there's some of his stuff in there, but it's the obvious stuff like Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick and yeah.
Okay. He was, as I was making this list, he just popped in my head as someone I wanted to ask you about.
You're not like crushed right now?
No, not crushed.
Okay.
I didn't think that'd be like huge, but
And isn't it? It's he has a son now doing stuff. Baxter, right?
Yes.
Baxter Dury. Yeah. Which is like kind of going back to that whole. What is that like? Is it mumblecore or?
Yeah, he's on that tip, but yeah, I respect him for making provocative music like his dad did, but for our modern time. But yeah, I'm not too familiar with his son's stuff. And that was a guy who passed away tragically young, too, in my opinion, in Dury. Okay, jumping all over the board here, but I'll bring this guy up because I know you're a big Elvis Costello guy.
Yeah.
Who's an all-time, like, top 3 for me. Someone sort of associated with him in the trad wave thing, Graham Parker.
Yeah. Love Graham Parker.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you would.
Yeah, I've got all pretty much everything he's done. Yeah, early stuff, all the oh gosh, what was that? Like the Mercury. Was it Mercury? I'm trying to think of the original label he was on, but
I don't know.
Yeah, all the way through because then he had a resurgence. He got signed to RCA for a period, and I actually got to go to a dinner with him. It was one back in the days when record companies spent money.
Yeah,
they would actually they'd bring in radio people from the market. You'd have dinner, artists. Yeah,
do a little socializing. That's amazing. So you got to talk to him?
Huh?
You got to talk to him?
Oh yeah. He was at the table.
That's sick.
Yeah,
he seems like a nice guy.
At that point, yeah, he was nice. I think he kind of somewhere in the back of his mind, I think he realized I have to kind of be a nice guy here because I'm getting a second chance, and so and he put out a couple of really good albums on RCA.
Yeah,
like the Mona Lisa Sister, and put out a really good live record.
I always got the feeling. I have no idea why, but just watching interviews with him, that he kind of felt like he got a raw deal and should have been a little bit more.
Yeah, I kind of I would agree.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, because you put him and Elvis Costello. I mean, I think they're both as talented.
Oh yeah,
and Elvis obviously went a little farther.
Definitely.
Than Graham.
Yeah, Graham Parker kind of got left in the dust. What were we gonna say though? Interrupted you.
I don't even remember. It was just something super random.
So I was gonna use the Stone Roses to jump into a little bit more Britpop stuff in the '90s. I think I know how you feel about Oasis.
I just like anybody else, I love that first album and parts of the second album, but they
lost you after that.
Yeah, and maybe it was all the the sibling infighting and
like feeling gimmicky.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, because I imagine if I was alive at that, or conscious about the music scene at that time, I might have felt the same way. But discovering that like 10, 15 years after it happened, it just added to the charm of it for me. I was like, man, this is cool, like rock and roll shit. These guys are a real band.
And I'm definitely not immune to falling into something that, right away it's like, come on, you hear Supersonic for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, what
Totally. What about Ocean Color Scene?
I'm not really up on Ocean Color Scene, but there are a couple of songs. There's a song, the first time I heard it, I thought it was Paul Weller.
Yeah.
It was in, I think it's in one of the Guy Ritchie
movies.
Yes.
It's in Lock, Stock.
Yes.
I think, Lock, Stock, which is awesome you bring that up. That's how I discovered Ocean Color Scene, because I love that
that
song.
one
it's
song.
Near the start of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I would say
I was Mile something city.
Mile
10 Mile.
Miles.
I have it in mind.
Mile High City? No, it's not. I'm getting confused. Yeah. But and I was a little disappointed. I'm like, oh, I got to go find more of this stuff. And a little disappointed that
100 Mile High City.
Yeah.
Oh, you
More
were
of it
close.
didn't sound as strong as that.
Yeah, they're an interesting band.
Like,
'cause,
oh, you've got it bad is like kind of like the second, like my second favorite Ocean Color scene.
that Mosley Shoals album, that's like their big album, came out in 96. And that's an interesting one because some songs are like, is this the Beatles? Some songs are like, this is a Paul Weller or jam track.
Yeah.
And then, it's kind of all over the
I mean,
board.
he's
But
totally aping Paul Weller on that
Oh,
track.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And because they'd been doing their thing for a while, and back to Oasis, I think Noel Gallagher was pretty responsible for Ocean Color scene having to come up because he was a fan of them and knew them. He was like, these guys are slept on, and kind of exposed them. And he did the same thing for the Verve in a big way. You Verve fan at
I
all?
loved
Okay.
that first Verve album.
Yeah.
Oh,
The Northern Soul
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
yeah. Everything about it, like the way the band's image, the packaging, that whole, like, I think it was the back cover, like the vending machine with the candy bars. It just said, I think it said Emotions.
Yeah.
My
that
memory
sounds right.
serves. Yeah.
Sounds right. Yeah. Noel Gallagher had a dedication. It might have been on Definitely Maybe on the second album, where he said, like, dedicated to the eternal genius of Richard Ashcroft.
Okay.
And a lot of people. Because I think the Verve was opening for him on, like, the first Oasis tour. And Noel realized, like, what a genius he is and how great that band is.
And I'm a little, he's kind of lost me. He just put out a new single that I thought everybody thought was going to just blow up. It was basically based on the old Joan Armatrading song.
Yep.
And-
We listened to that single on the pod like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we were like, what the
What the
fuck
fuck is this?
Yeah, I've missed the last couple.
Oh, yeah, you're fine.
But, you guys felt the same way about it.
very,
Definitely.
very misled track, I would say.
Both
Yeah.
the singles were so weird. What I told Julian, I was like, there's like 10 different good ideas here that would be a good song.
Yeah.
Just mashed together with the weirdest production choices ever.
Right.
That's how I felt
They're
about
like the pop song
Richard
filter.
Ashcroft. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, where do I want to go from there? Kind of tangential to Britpop, Massive Attack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
no surprises. That was
Yeah.
okay.
A lot of this stuff you're mentioning was it had come out. I mean, I don't want to go down if that other. I don't want to pull us away from what we're talking about if
you're
we're
fine.
going
We can
to
go
go
in
there
any
eventually. But
direction.
I basically started my real career in radio at KTCL, but not the KTCL we all know today.
Now.
Yeah, KTCL was in Fort Collins back in the day. It was a hippie station in the 70s, and it was album oriented, freeform. It was freeform. Jocks picked everything, wall of records, and that's basically where I was when all of this stuff hit. Like all Massive Attack. So many of the bands you mentioned, the Manchester thing when that happened.
Yeah.
Stone Roses, Happy Mondays.
Were other people at the station into that? Or were you kind of the guy?
It was kind
into that
of
scene?
the station by that point had been through its transition. When I started, it was just starting to transition where you'd hear like Thomas Dolby next to the Grateful Dead,
Gotcha.
next to Van Morrison, next to Heaven 17. It was really weird to listen to. and that maybe
jarring.
that's probably a little unfair. It was the Jocks did a really good job of putting it all, packaging it all so it sounded. So it wasn't that, but in an hour you would hear all
a lot
that.
of
So
different shit.
they would put on like maybe Thomas Dolby and Kate Bush, and from Kate Bush you can kind of maybe go to other places.
Right.
But so that's where I was when all that stuff hit. And again, going back to when the record companies had money, I mean, I was privy, and I still have almost all of it. I was privy to so much promo stuff. So, I mean, first of all, I got everything. I got everything serviced to me. So I got everything. The album came out. I got it on CD. And unfortunately, by then, vinyl had been transitioned out. When I started, vinyl was still kind of. They were still sending some, but we were starting to play CDs on the air,
right?
And it was such a cool thing that every time you play it, it's like, that's Steely Dan from Gaucho off the CD. It was.
Compact disc.
Yeah,
something that people just consider straight garbage now.
Yeah.
People see CDs and throw them away.
Yeah. I kept mine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
I've kept, and I still have. I never got rid of my records, so I have all of my records from when I had enough money to start buying them. So, like last week, for Halloween, we attended a theme party, a theme costume party, and the theme was Dead Rock Stars.
Oh, cool.
And we were asked to bring, if we had one, an album. Nobody had them except me. So I was Young Prince, first, second album. I bought it, had a big, huge afro. And your mom was Rick Ocasek from the Cars.
Nice.
She's going to be mad at me.
Very subtle.
Well, because we didn't tell each other for a week. We didn't tell each other.
That's fun.
But we were buying things I bought a wig. And
I
then
kept seeing things on Amazon come up, and I'd just be like, what's
I went and
happening?
bought a shirt that I could wear, open with big lapels. And then she bought this comically big set of ears. And I'm like, that totally threw me off. So the night of the show, the party, we both got dressed. Well, I went to work in mine, so I came home and she saw me right away. And then she started getting ready, and she had bought this black wig that kind of short, put it on, put the ears on, and then put glasses on. And she's like, "Do you know who I am?" And I said, "Roy Orbison." She looked just like Roy Orbison, I swear to you. She's like, "No, damn it, I'm Rick Ocasek from the Cars."
Oh, yeah, no, totally.
Oh, yeah,
So-
Rick Ocasek.
I see that now.
And you look at somebody and you kind of go, you're the way your brain works is like, yeah, okay, I guess you could
I
be
can see it now.
Rick Ocasek. So yeah, I went downstairs and that was among one of the first 3 albums I think I ever bought with my own money. The Cars' first album, Jackson Browne, Running on Empty, and Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Damn the Torpedoes. Yeah, still have them. I'm sure they're worn to bits because I played them on the first turntable I had before I knew you're supposed to dust them and you're supposed to change the stylus and all that good stuff. But I have them.
That's amazing. Did you feel validated when the vinyl comeback happens?
Yeah.
The early 2010s?
Yeah, well, I was glad I had never gotten rid of mine.
Yeah.
Because
then I
people
didn't
were
have to
scrambling to
rebuild.
buy their old albums for 10 times as much as they bought them back in the day.
I'm really pissed off that the record companies keep getting away with this. They made us buy everything on CD. And they killed the record. So we all went out and rebought everything. And I like the CD. I thought it was a really good medium. Still do.
Yeah.
I mean, all the arguments. Oh, they're harsh. This, that, and the other. But I mean, to have something, because there were so many, and still, because I have them all too. So many titles that I was so happy to buy on CD that I had never owned on vinyl, like the Chameleons UK.
Yeah.
Strange Times. Yeah, when that came out on CD, I was so happy to have it, nice, clean, digital.
Totally.
Well, and it's just nice to have something physical format that you actually own forever.
Yes.
If I didn't pay for my subscription for Apple Music, then all my music is gone. I don't have any music, being able to just listen to whatever you want whenever you want and have full control and full autonomy of it is a really nice thing that a lot of people sadly don't really comprehend or
And it's
understand.
crazy
in
that
this day and
paying for
age.
something is no longer owning anything.
Right. You pay for you rent everything at this
You rent
point
everything.
in time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this seems like a really natural segue, so I'm just going to run with it for a second, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I kind of just wanted to take it like all the way back to the very beginning because like I've never asked and I don't really fully know. I mean, I've probably heard like stories at some point or another, but I don't really like fully know. Where does this all come from? Like when did you like wake up and start realizing that you wanted to like collect music and listen to music, digest music, share music, and like
good question.
When was
I don't know, because I think I've told you my parents did not.
They didn't really care.
They did not care. They had a really nice, well, back in the day, they had a really nice component stereo system, but owned like 3 records. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they played them incessantly.
Which records?
I remember Peter Frampton Comes Alive, which of course everybody owned.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
My dad has bought me 3 copies of that album because he keeps forgetting he's got.
Oh my God.
I literally have 3 copies of that. I'm
gonna every time I see them, I'm gonna buy you
Add
one.
to cart.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So like that one, I remember. The Ace album, you're both way too young for that, but there was one song, they had a big hit called How Long. Paul Carrick was on it. How long has this been going? That was Ace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Bought that album. Album was terrible, but they bought it for that one song.
That single.
Yeah. Mom was an Elvis fan, so she did have a lot of Elvis Presley. Oh, Dad was a Chicago fan, so he had a lot of early Chicago stuff.
Interesting.
And it was one of the old changers, so it was not uncommon. And like Dad would put all he had like the you see it in used record stores all the time for like you can buy it for pennies on the dollar. It's the white Chicago box set. I think it was like Carnegie Hall or something. Yeah, he would put like all the records on, and it, would just play one side, one would drop, and play the next. Yeah, it was one of those kind of changers, and I have it. I saved it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because all I ever wanted was that. I wanted that system.
Yeah,
but it just sat. It sat on the wall in the family room. And it's just like, what a waste.
Yeah.
It's just sitting there. They never play. I remember I added an 8-track player to it at one point because I came into an 8-track player just, to be able to, so I could turn it on and listen to stuff on it because I really didn't have any records at that point. And then, I started buying records, but it's a really good question and one I don't have a really good answer for because you would think
there'd be like a moment.
Yeah, because you hear the stories about all these people like, my parents, the record player was always on and they were playing all the coolest stuff.
Yeah.
Jazz,
it's not like
rock
Chicago
and roll.
Wasn't not cool. But like,
the original,
band ever. Yeah.
Right. And I think, I think it was because Dad may have known one person in the band because there were several of them were Italian in the band.
Right.
So Rascals, Dad was a huge Rascals fan.
Okay.
And I still like the Rascals.
Yeah.
The only, I guess the best answer I could give was my parents had, and probably all of our parents have had like some of the coolest cars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
And to them
age.
now they're the cool. It's like, oh my gosh, how come you got rid of that?
Mm-hmm.
Like my dad had a convertible Impala, and that was the one they had. He had put an 8-track player in the glove box, and used to play the coolest stuff. And I remember being in it's like one of my earliest memories, hearing that, and they played a lot of Motown on that. Yeah, and then I think that would probably be.
Just like remembering
the mystique of that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because again, there was no music really in the house. They never really turned the stereo.
I mean, that's funny because I told that story on the pod about falling in love with Jack White in The Spider because you were fucking blasting it like peak volume, and I was just like, this is the coolest moment of my life.
Yeah. That's how I got into REM in my dad's Lexus.
Wow.
High roller.
Good car sound system to hear REM for your first
LX
time.
470.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good sound system.
Yeah. So
okay, so then I guess next logical question would be like, when do you remember when you decided you wanted to turn it into like a job? When you thought about doing it like full time, or was it just like a thing that you did because there was like nothing else to do?
No, actually, that was never it. I obviously fell in love with music first, and like I got a job when I was 16. Started buying real equipment. I bought I saved up, bought my first real receiver, real nice techniques. Wish I still had it. Yeah. I sold it to Jason.
Oh yeah,
the gentleman we spoke about.
Nice.
Yeah, because he for him having such good taste in music, he didn't have a really nice stereo at the time. So yeah, I sold that to him. And then I bought at the time I bought a decent like belt drive turntable. It's like, ooh, yeah. And it had like, and immediately, that's when stuff started like clicking. Like I was buying the outer sleeves for and I was buying albums then too. So I was buying, outer sleeve. Oh,
Can't wait to have a record to
you
put.
Gotta,
so many
right.
sleeves.
Yeah. What are these for? So I was buying all the outer sleeves. Oh, you got to put them in rice paper. The record's got to go in rice paper, so it doesn't. Oh, you got to buy the duster, and you got to buy a thing to clean your stylus. And then I met a guy named Josh Masters, and he was the guy who turned me onto the Velvet Underground, and kind of like a two-prong. He had the first couple Velvet Underground albums, and he had a decent stereo setup, but he was like the first time I saw it, he had like his records were out on the floor of the carpet, and I'm like, oh gosh, dude, no, that's not good. I was probably putting it away, man. and then like he played me, and I'm like, wow, that sounds so much better than my turntable. What's going on? And I remember like I just examined his turntable. It wasn't too much nicer than what I had, and I'm like, oh, it's the cartridge. He had a really nice Ortofon cartridge on it. So, and you can take them off. The head shells come off, and I'm like, hey, can I take this home and try it on my turntable? And he's like, yeah, sure, I don't care. So
nice.
And he's like, here, take the Velvet Underground albums too with you and listen to them. And so it all just started kind of coalesce, and I got really serious about my equipment. I immediately went and replaced the cartridge that had come on the turntable, which was a sure entry level, but it was shit compared to the
you can't go back.
Yeah, and it was the starter. It was an OM5, the bottom range, but it was so much more. The quality was so much better. Like I remember the Shure, you could hear like the vibrations of it, like the tone arm. Tap on the base of the turntable, you could hear it. The Ortofon wouldn't pick that up, and it tracked everything.
Yeah.
Even a lot of modern turntables can't say the same shit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So did I answer your?
Well, yeah, no, I think so.
I mean, kind of. So there really isn't. Again, there's no reason why. And then
Cool that the technology played as much of a part as the music did.
I was gonna say the collection, like collecting the records and like collecting music in general, and also the gear has like always been a part of it.
Yeah, and we were lucky back then. Like we had KTCL, which to this day I still hold as like that was one of the best freeform stations I would say in the country.
Yeah.
I would put it up there. But we also had...
Was a long time ago.
We had a rock station in Denver, which I think... Is it KAZY still? Or is it... No, KBPI. It was KBPI, and then you move the dial up a little, and there was KAZY, KZ, right towards the end, on the right end of the dial. And KAZY was a freeform rock station. But you'd still hear like they would put on Sgt. Pepper's and let it track through. And so I think that's where a lot of that came from, and that I just had a voracious appetite. I wanted to hear everything.
Yeah.
At that point, I wasn't going back so much as I was going forward. Like I wanted
everything.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I always, because we've talked about this a lot, obviously, having you on and stuff, and you have your list, and we've talked a lot about like older bands, but I always have kind of said that what I remember from childhood is we were always listening to the newest shit.
Yeah.
Like the breaking edge shit. Like we were never looking back at old music. We were never like listening to like legacy music. It was always like we were listening to like shit that hadn't even come out yet.
I'd open something and go, oh, here's the new album from whatever. And we'd listen to that for, a couple weeks, and then open something else in the mail. And that again was still, back in, that's not happening anymore. I don't get any physical format anymore. I get nothing but digital.
So
downloads.
Next question, I guess. And because, again, childhood, that's what I remember. I also remember in my childhood was that everyone always like revered you as being like really good at your job. Like you were good at being like a host. You're good with like your curation of songs and like the balance of the things, and like everyone just always like revered you and respected what you did. Were you like always good at it? Like did you come in and just find it right away, or was there a moment when you were like, oh, like I'm good at this now? Like I want to say, and I'm not blow my own horn, but it's okay. It's been a while.
I listened. So I'll try to make this succinct as possible. I bothered the KTCL DJs and program directors, the hosts. I just bothered the hell out of them. I would call them once, twice a week and say, hey, what you got, any openings, any part-time openings? And it was still back when you had to have like a tape. You had to have like a demo tape, which meant that you had been on the radio somewhere. And I had not been. So I started, I cut my teeth. I'd take anything. I worked at KCSU. There was a program called Radio Zero back in the day. This was when they were still classical during the day. Nothing but classical music, and NPR in the morning. That's all it was. But then after midnight, this guy had persuaded, it was like, because there were no computers back then. You had to have, it was either you go dark or you had to have a breathing, a warm body in the studio. Yeah. So I called up this guy. His name is Lance Barber. He's still around, and said, "Hey, can I be on radio?" He's like, "Well, are you a CSU student?" I'm like, "No." Yeah. And I kind of bothered him to the point where he just let that. Or he had nobody. He had no. I think it was more that than the former, that he just didn't have anybody. So I didn't care. He'd like, you can take the second half of the shift on, Friday night, which meant like somebody was on from midnight till 3. I would go and just so I could have
a demo.
So I was recording myself, and then I went to, there was a station in Greeley that I was on briefly. It was terrible. It was hit music. I can't even remember, but it was owned by a family, and they put two brothers in charge. They had no idea what they were doing. Yeah. Like my one story I remember from that was Prince Sign of the Times had just come out, and I went in, he wanted to talk to me about something. I went in and I'm sitting at his desk and he's got all these CDs stacked up, and I look and I'm like, "Oh, you got the new Prince CD, Sign of the Times." He's like, "You want it? We're not going to play it." I'm like, that's so they give you some indication. Yeah. But all the music was like, it was all on cartridge. You didn't actually touch any media, like records or anything. Right. And you had to, and it was all printed. So you literally just loaded everything up. And again, that was overnights. but I was glad to do it. Got me some more air check material. And the whole time I'm doing this, I'm still bugging. His name was John Hayes. He was program director at the time, and just bugging the shit out of him. And I just was getting nowhere with him. And I embarrassingly put together an air check that sounded like, down to me saying like KTCL as the call letters.
Yeah.
And did a demo and gave that to him.
That's
so
amazing.
Nothing. Still hearing nothing. Then out of the blue, complete blue, he calls me one day, and probably because he had nobody to fill in shift.
Right.
Says, "Hey, do you want to come in and do a shift, whatever day, night it was? Show up about 11:30, and the night host will just kind of give you." And I was just like, kid in a candy store, and I
What, did they
stupidly didn't tape
they
it.
just like point?
I didn't
they
tape it.
give you like a rundown and like
Oh,
give
yeah,
you the keys.
yeah, it
They're
was,
like, you got this or what?
Yeah, and it was
That's crazy.
I remember because so much of that is seared in my memory.
You could have just gone on open air and started being like, you could have done anything.
So, anyways, here's the N word.
And he's like, yeah, I'm going to be in Denver. So the night host, her name was C.A. Page, lovely woman. But she didn't know me from anybody. I just, here's this young kid shows up. I was still in my teens, probably. I was 18, 19.
Okay. I was going to ask what age you were
Yeah,
at
I
this
was
time.
very young.
Yeah.
And
Man, that's admirable that you were so persistent.
Yeah, you found it.
Like,
You found it right away.
Yeah.
You're just like, this is it.
yeah. So I go in, she shows me, she's like, yeah, don't do this, don't do that. And then just leaves.
Wow.
I had like a 30-minute,
There was no requirements of like, this needs to be played. Or
no,
like,
nothing.
That's insane to think
Nothing.
about.
Yeah, she showed me the log. I mean, it was midnight, so there were no commercials to play. It was, and I mean, I went in and she leaves. I watch her go out that door. It locks, and I'm like, I knew everything I wanted to play that night. All of my favorite, everything.
Do you remember some of the tracks you would have played from that?
I don't know tracks, but I went for Frank Zappa right away because they were playing Frank Zappa. Yeah, the fact that you could play Frank Zappa on the radio.
Crazy.
Yeah, and so much of I think the Replacements. Pleased to Meet Me had just come out.
Cool. That's a band I should have
and-
put on the list.
Yeah,
Replacements,
love
yeah.
the Mats. Yeah, absolutely love the Replacements. So, yeah, that got me on KTCL, and they immediately saw, like, after being such a pain in the ass, he immediately saw, like, oh, he's
This
actually
dude's
kind of
got
good.
it.
But I had
So was he
admittedly,
was listening when you did that?
I think he did call. Because he, like, 1 or 2 in the morning, he called.
Did you guys get like numbers or anything? Like
Yeah, we used-
overnights?
Yeah. Oh, no. Overnights were nothing. Overnights were a throwaway. Yeah. So, but he made me part-time immediately.
Wow.
So I started doing part-time shifts, a lot of really prime day shifts.
Nice.
And I don't know where it is. I have it somewhere. I won... Like Westward gave me an award the first year I was there.
Wow.
Damn.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah.
So
That's like an
you were pretty
18-year-old
much good
kid.
at it right away.
Yeah.
18, 19 something, yeah. So I was there for like 5 years. Just that is the best time. Well, I mean KBAC was really good too, but after that, because it was not a good split, they let me go on some stupid thing. And I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
If that's the way it's going to be. I did a stint at KBCO. And unfortunately, I've kind of made a joke over the years that every time I go somewhere, when I started at KBCO, they were still owned by a family, a Boulder family, the Greenlees. And they were bought by Clear Channel. I don't even know if it was Clear Channel back in the day, but it became Clear Channel. But the joke always was that every time Clear Channel was coming in the front door, I was leaving out the
Coming out the
back.
back.
Yeah.
So I started at KBCO. It was still kind of free form, but you had at that point they had adopted a computer that kept track of the songs you could play. And so you'd go like, oh, I have to play a green. And you'd go and, okay, what greens? And it would show you like the green you should play. But you could go back 1, 2, or 3, like, oh, that's not going to sound good now after what's playing. And then Clear Channel took over, completely changed. Yeah, they brought in this guy who was just a complete nut job, and made it what it is today. Still, I call it a jukebox. I think it's
right.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, who needs to hear Hotel California and Tiny Dancer? Yeah.
So I guess this kind of, again, is a really good segue into what I kind of wanted to ask next, which is...
Yeah, stop me from talking about this.
No.
If I'm going on.
This is
why you're on the
what I
podcast,
wanted to talk about.
Okay.
I think, again, people our age don't really have a full... We don't have a full grasp of what radio was, what it was. Because right when we have like cognitive memory is, in my mind, when Clear Channel's like doing their sweep and kind of taking over everything.
Yeah.
Universalizing radio, turning
you,
it
Bill
on to
Clinton.
like top 40 and stuff.
True.
So if you can, this is kind of a two-parter question, but like paint a very brief picture of what radio was when you were a kid and like what made you fall in love with radio. What was the radio like back then? And then kind of how did it change throughout, I would say, like, I guess the late 90s into the early 2000s.
But it changed into, it became, I said Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was the one that he opened the floodgates that allowed companies to own X amount of radio and TV in one market. And that was really detrimental because, these groups would swoop in and immediately stuff would go like, okay, well, you're going to be top 40 now. You're going to be, hit radio,
right.
You're going to be classic rock in the market.
Well, and it almost seemed like you were you're like doomed to fail in the sense that if you were part of a successful radio program, that it was more likely to get bought up by someone. So you almost didn't want to be like making a good name for yourself because you're kind of screwing yourself in the long term in that way. But like, I don't know. We only now see radio as, I would say, a corporation. Like everyone views radio as just like a big corporate entity. It's all owned by like the same people. They all play the same things. They all do the same marketing, and it's almost like shameless now, but I feel like...
Well, and those properties, the problem what you're describing is it's so expensive, or was, because these companies bought, these properties back when they were millions and millions of dollars, and not so anymore, but they are carrying huge debt loads that they need to make good on, and there's no room to play marginal stuff. You have to play what's popular now versus, back in the day, like the old KTCL. Yeah, we weren't making a ton of money, but we were making enough to make that owner happy.
Yeah. Well, so I guess
and he never really got it. He was, the owner was always, he would come in maybe once, twice a year, and he was just, he was perplexed about what we were doing. Yeah, and we had an AM sister station on the other side of the wall, and I think it was country at that point. They were playing country music, and so he was probably, really happy about that.
Yeah.
So, but there was that leeway. You didn't, as long as you were making some money. And not like it is now. And I think to answer part of that question too, I mean, it truly was, that's where people heard all the new music. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it was, for me, like listening to TCL, like first time I heard Big Audio Dynamite, holy shit. Yeah.
On the radio.
On the radio.
Yeah. It's like crazy to think about that ever being possible, just like with Frank Zappa and stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Actually,
you gotta
take a quick pause.
Well,
I guess the door's closed.
Oh, gotcha. I'll carry this. So to Julian was talking about how you were like immediately good at your job and praised. Were you were you making mixtapes in the cassette days? How'd you like cut your teeth with making playlists and thinking about what songs sounded good together?
Yeah, no, I was totally, I was making cassette tapes all the time because that's what we had in the cars before we could, before CDs were, before you could, when you got to that point where they could play CDs in the car without, skipping and whatever.
So then, sorry to interrupt.
No worries.
Will is here, so we should get to the point of thinking about wrapping it up pretty soon.
Okay.
But
this is fun. Bye.
We're
gonna have you on for
another. Has this really been an hour already?
You got here at.
Yeah, it looks like we just passed an hour.
Okay.
I do want to cut into like the middle of the 2000s though for a second because. And obviously it's what I remember, so to me it's like the most important. But like through like all the Santa Fe radio stations, like with hindsight now and like some years past obviously, like when you look back at all that time and all of the experience that you had there, like what was your main takeaway from, I guess, trying to maintain the balance of like running an operation that you're proud of, but also dealing with like the corporate bullshit? Because that's like what I kind of remember the most is like you kind of fighting to maintain an image or a presence of a certain station. Yeah. But kind of simultaneously being told that it has to meet certain guidelines and do certain things. Right. What was like your key takeaway from that whole experience? Was it basically just like fuck corporations, or was it like
there was definitely some of that. I mean, the reason we moved to Santa Fe was because KBCO fell apart, didn't want to be there. Yeah. And at the time, Ira Gordon, who he had been at KBCO forever, he was like a fixture there. They let him go. Wow. Like crazy. Again, that's this nut job guy came in and just blew everything up, thinking, that's the way you do it. So Ira Gordon and we passed each other in the parking lot one night. He was leaving. I was going up to do a shift. And he's like, hey, I got this thing that might happen in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Guy bought a signal. And he said I can do whatever I want with it, and I want to go down and turn it into a freeform station, like in the spirit of old freeform radio. Yeah. He's like, would you be interested? And I'm like, yeah, anything's got to be better than this. And had nothing else going because then I was let go from KBCO because I wouldn't play. They actually got mad at me because they found out I was job hunting. Wow. I had an interview in Nashville, and it was WRLT, which was a huge, still, I don't know, I think they still are pretty much a powerhouse, but they were freeform, beautiful station, downtown Nashville. They were had like a penthouse, one of the penthouse suites. Like I remember going in the studio, the main FM studio, and it was like you stepped up and there's a pedestal, and it was like in a round where you sat. That's cool. It was beautiful. And then you could walk out on this patio and just see the entire city. Oh, cool. And they were looking for somebody to do like imaging, which is a whole other conversation. I won't go there, but it was something I was really getting interested in. And so they're like, yeah, we've never had an imaging person in-house. And it would probably come with like, would you be up for doing like a part-time shift on Saturday and Sundays? I'm like, yeah, whatever. And KBCO found out that they had flown me out. And when I got back, Mom was like, there's some messages on the answering machine you should listen to. And they were just like, God, these people are terrible. Jesus. Damn. Yeah.
A rough environment.
So I left, and Mom and we looked at each other, and we had bought a townhome that we had been in for a year in Lafayette because we couldn't afford to live in Boulder. We're like, well, should we do this? We put it up for sale. Immediately, people, were fighting over it. And we moved to Santa Fe.
Was it really that easy with Mom to just be like, let's go to Santa Fe? And she was just
no.
fuck yeah.
No, it was, I think actually at that point it was
Were you guys
pretty
married
easy.
Yet?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were married. It was the first place that we owned. It sold while we moved. We put it up for sale. Made
What year was this?
Oh gosh, I don't remember. Yeah,
but you were around,
If
right,
Mom
when-
were sitting
for
at the
the
table,
Santa Fe
she'd probably have a date and.
I don't know.
Time,
I think I was around.
No.
No.
No,
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 you
not
were
yet,
no,
not yet,
you were
not
born
yet.
in you were born,
I was born
in Santa Fe.
I wasn't
Oh,
thinking straight.
I knew that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So it'd have been around like mid '90s.
yeah.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
I'm like, we didn't do it that quick. I drove down one weekend. I had taken the job. I drove down one weekend, found us a place to live, brand new house, in fact, which was nice, and it was like 5 minutes from the station. And then came back, packed us up, moved down there, and that was a blast too. I would say TCL definitely number one. KBAC, Radio Free Santa Fe was the.
Cool.
That was that.
How long was it good for? Like how many years?
That was good until Clear Channel.
Well, how many years was that?
That was probably 7.
Okay,
maybe
so a good
7.
long time.
Yeah, because
You were there for a long time.
I stayed through all of the malaise, I guess, because they bought us, and it started good. They were like, we're not going to do anything to you. We realize you guys are a Santa Fe institution. What we're going to do is we're going to give you a better signal. And this is kind of ties into what kind of like what you were talking about, how radio evolved. So we went from we were on this tiny little signal in Santa Fe, which didn't get outside of Santa Fe.
Right.
We had a translator in Las Vegas, New Mexico. There's a Las Vegas, New Mexico. That's where our transmitter actually was. And it was always kind of dodgy. I think it was illegal. And thinking back on it, I think it was illegal because we had we had a broom closet that we leased in this hotel in Las Vegas that had a broken mixing board, a microphone, and a broken CD player. And we could call that a studio.
Wow.
So we were licensed there.
Yeah.
So we went from that to having this. They had a poor performing station in Albuquerque. They gave us that signal. So suddenly we were like, clear signal in Santa Fe, clear signal in Albuquerque.
So you're all over the state.
We were, it was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And immediately they started meddling because that signal was worth a lot of money.
I'm sure.
They were like, this signal is worth this amount of money. I forget what the figure was, but this is what you need to bill.
Need to break even on it.
You need to bill this. And,
Yeah.
we were obviously a niche musical taste station, but we weren't so far off the map. Yeah. That you might wander down and go, oh, what's this? And stay and, and listen. That didn't last very long. They're like, yeah, well, you're not billing. And that's when it was just so embarrassing. They took that away from us.
Wow.
And
That's such
put
a
us
shame.
back on our
Your old
original
signal,
frequency.
yeah.
And then they started meddling to the point where they had their IT guy bust into Ira's computer and blew out our music library out of it, the scheduler, and installed the standard Clear Channel 600, 700 song playlist.
The library. That's insane.
Yeah, and I was doing
Jesus.
mornings.
Yeah.
So it literally was like this line in the sand where, well, when you come in tomorrow morning,
It's this.
it's
You're gonna have your
this.
approved
And I looked
list,
at it
yeah.
and I'm like, and they're like, oh, it's going to be good though. It's going to be, and I'm like, so you're
You're gonna
telling
like
me,
this, actually,
you're telling me that I've been doing this for 7 years. And I was doing mornings the whole time. I was the morning guy. I was the anchor. I'm like, no one's going to notice tomorrow morning that I'm playing Led Zeppelin when we have never played Led Zeppelin. Yeah. Oh, no, it's going to be great. And yeah, I'm like, this is terrible. Oh, I got that kind of mixed up. We were still on the big signal.
When that happened.
Because they let us go for a while, and then when they noticed we weren't billing whatever it was worth, they came in, they totally hijacked it, put that, and then we were supposed to go, and then the big embarrassment was, well, yeah, you guys just aren't cutting it. We're going to put you back at 98.1, the small Santa Fe frequency, and we're going to you just go back to doing what you're doing. And I was at that point, I was just fried because there was a lot of other stuff personally, because I was imaging the station too. I had gotten really good at that, and so I was imaging it. And one of the guys that I had worked under at KBCO, who's just an awful human being, I won't mention his name, Scott Arbo, and
fuck you, Scott.
Yeah, he was. We wound up falling under him. He had worked up the ranks and was like a national programmer or whatever his title was.
Yeah,
and so
boots.
Yeah, they would listen. They were listening to us. The broadcast and everything that I produced imaging wise, he'd listen to and just pick apart. Nah, that doesn't sound well, here. And he'd send me like the KBCO imaging guys. This is what you should be doing. And I'm thinking back on it now, and I've thought about it a lot. I wish Ira had fought for me more. And he was just he just like let stuff roll off his back. I wish he had fought for me, maybe us more. And at that point I was just like, this is embarrassing, Ira. That he's like, but we're getting the station back and we get to do, and I'm like, it's been tarnished. I don't and we had lost so much of our base.
Yeah, people
with the move.
Yeah, people left and right. They did not want anything to do with this.
Yeah.
So, and then I mean, I know we're over time, but I had a couple stations. Like there was these guys. There was a group that bought another like really small signal that they were going to try a new format, a brand new format. Like it was a chill format.
Yeah. So describe that briefly, because I can
do that one briefly because it was.
Well, I just always thought that was a very interesting phase in general, because the way that and again, I was very young, but the way that I thought about it was like you went from a station where you were doing like whatever you wanted, basically, to a station where there was like a very specific format that wasn't like your typical.
No, you're spot on. You're spot on. And these guys, there were 3 guys that had pooled their money, but they put the guy in charge who had ran. It was Star in Los Angeles, which is a pure hit music station where you'd hear the big hits every 90 minutes.
Right.
So they put him in charge of programming. The idea came from this other guy who was like a woo-woo guy from Florida. He had opened I think he had a couple. He had these sushi bars that were themed, and they were called Blue, BLU. And I never got to see one. They kept saying they were going to fly us out so we could see one, but they were apparently just breathtaking, the restaurants.
Right.
And he used to play chill music. It was ambient, just kind of brushing up against dance almost, but a lot of Moby and that sort of stuff. And he's like, hey, and he said he always had people saying, oh, the music is, so good in here, as good as the food. And so
interesting. So
it was his idea.
Sounds like a narcissist.
The blue form. Oh, he was an asshole. he was such an asshole. And so he's like, this is the format. So he gave it to the guy that programmed Star. They brought it to Santa Fe thinking, oh, we got this station, for pennies on the dollar, because it was a shitty signal. It didn't get outside of Santa Fe. And they needed somebody to run it. And I was on my way out. I mean, we had put the house up for sale once, And they called and said, "Hey, we understand you have a fabulous reputation in that town. We would love for you to come over and run this new." So
that's cool.
Talked mom out of selling the house. We stuck around a little longer, and it was rough to start because he was in that mind frame because he came again from Los Angeles. And he was like hardcore, like, no, you play the hits every 90 minutes. So when I got there, Porcelain from Moby had just become huge, that whole album. And they were playing Porcelain every 90 minutes. And what started out as a really good idea, Santa Fe loved it because of all the art. People were, you went into every art gallery, niche restaurant.
They were playing.
They had it on. Yeah. And then immediately people were like, okay, what else you got? And it was 300 songs. And, when you turn over that, like almost
That's
once
like
a day, hour, maybe a day and a half if you're lucky. So I immediately was like, listen, we need to blow up this library. And it was really hard going. Like the first couple months, I had to make CDs of things that I thought we should be playing, and I'd send it to him in the mail, and I'd wait, and I'd send him a CD of 20 songs, thinking, he's gonna, 19 of these. These are okay. He'd give me like 3.
Wow.
Yeah. And it just went on like that for a while, and then he started realizing, like, Santa Fe's a small town.
And you were working out of what was effectively a closet.
Yeah, it was everything about it. Yeah, there was just a quick aside. The guy the guy they bought the station from, this was his MO. He actually owned KBAC prior to the group that owned it when we were in our heyday, the salad days. But this was his MO. He would buy signals that were available really cheap, set up, like he'd just go and buy second, third hand equipment, set it up, and then he'd put a library on a computer that just sat there, and then he'd put a for sale sign in the window. Like, whoop. Radio station for sale. So interesting. Yeah, so he did that, and
God, that was a whole racket back in the day.
Yeah. So that's why the Blue Studios were garbage.
Yeah,
they were in it was like a strip mall-y thing, and the studio was the only part of the building, this strip mall-y thing. It stuck out, and it was like glass. It was all glass.
Interesting.
So it sounded like crap. It was freezing in the winter.
Yeah.
And Santa Fe doesn't get that cold, but it was cold.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this tiny, it was no bigger than the vocal booth here that you guys have. The production room, I should say.
Yeah.
It was just like this
I
tiny
remember
little.
that.
Yeah.
I was just
So
listening to
An actual
Moby in
closet.
there.
yeah. So that kind of went on for a while, and then he started finally. He just relented, and it's like, okay, you obviously have been here. Just don't go too crazy. So I eventually was able to grow, because I have the original library. I saved it on hard drive. I still have it. I got to about 1,200 songs, which I thought was like, it sounded really good. The station sounded really, really good. And about a year and a half in, the money guy started making noise. Like, hey, I'm not seeing a return. I'm like, and my argument was the one thing. So they decided they were going to have this huge bash, and the philosophy of the station was, we're not a dance station. Remember that when you're programming it. We're not a dance station.
Right.
So
it's a hard line to walk, though.
For that music. Yeah. So what do they go and do? They decide they're going to bring Paul Oakenfold to town. I'm like, boom. I'm like, so you've been holding me to this for a year, and now you want to bring Paul Oakenfold to town. You know who he is. He's a DJ that plays dance music.
Yeah, he's a dance guy, right?
Yeah. And I'm like, this is not, and it was so expensive. So, and he's a douchebag. So he I mean, just to get him there, his fee, his performance
And you
fee,
don't even
right?
want him to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
Then he has to bring his whole entourage, and we had to fly him on a private plane into Santa Fe. Yeah. So tons of money right there. We wound up not selling but half the venue. Yeah. And then it was slowly right after that, the money guy was like, what happened? I'm not seeing, I thought this was going to be, and the whole time,
This was a surefire thing.
yeah, they were, while this was all happening, they were dangling this other job in front of me. They were going to, because they had bought Radio IO, which is just like a streaming platform. And they're like, yeah, we're going to put this format on Radio IO. There's going to be a chill format, and we want you to program it. I'm like, well, cool. And that never came to fruition. And again, things just kind of nosedived, and we moved back. We sold the house because Amy really wanted to come back.
At that point, she was like, we got to get back.
We got to get back. So they moved back. We bought the house, and I moved in with a guy up there who was working at Blue as well. Now is like one of my best friends still. And I would drive back and forth like once a month just to, check on him. And and then I built the studio. I built the studio, and I'm like, listen, I need to go live with my family now. And so I was on the air in Santa Fe from our basement, our Moss Creek basement. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
And that was with Indy, right?
No, that was
still Blue?
That was the tail end of Blue.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
I thought Blue was fully done.
No, that's I missed. I didn't go to Paul Oakenfold. I did because
out of protest.
I got yelled at by the general manager of the station because I went to her and I said, "Listen, this is a bad idea."
Right, to bring him in.
Yeah, to bring him in. We're
Gay as hell.
We're spending loads of money. We're spending
In the eyes of history, this will be very good.
Yeah. We're spending loads of money on him. We've never played Paul Oakenfold, and now we're playing Paul Oakenfold because we have to promote the shit out of this thing.
Yeah.
And she yelled at me. She's like, "You're not following the company, walking the line and blah." I'm like, "Oh, boy.
You ain't sucking the ween hard enough."
Yeah. Yeah. So things started. And then, I just got the call one day, and we're gonna probably let you go. And I'm like, whew, yeah. But Indy, this small group had purchased yet another station in Santa Fe. Same thing, but it was a different guy. But he did the same thing. He bought this shitty signal, set up a makeshift half-assed studio, and put a computer with this music library on it, and it just sat there. And then he put a for sale sign in the window. They bought it, and these were people I kind of knew, and they came to me and said, "Okay, we know you've had a rough time, man.
Yeah,
We want you to do what you want to do here, and we pretty sure we know what you're going to do." And and this was I was still kind of on good grounds with the people that own Blue, and because they were suffering financially, they were actually very interested in, there was a name for it back in the day and I don't remember that now, but it was basically a joint venture that I'm like, well, this is cool. Why don't we team up? We were going to use the sales staff. We were going to use Blue's advertising sales staff and sell time on Indy, what
Indy.
became Indy. Yeah, it was Indy 1015 when it started because it was on an FM signal there.
It didn't have any internet component then of...
Not immediately,
Okay.
but we got there pretty quick.
Well, and just a quick, also very brief book side note in here is I think right when Indy was starting was around the time that radio was starting to die.
Very much so. Very much so.
It's kind of
But
bad timing.
you've
there.
got the benefit of having a small, I don't know what Santa Fe's population is now, but I think it was like 88,000 back then. Not a lot.
Yeah.
And so you had the luxury of doing stuff like that. Yeah, I mean Albuquerque had all those other stations. They had the generic classic rock and the hits and by that KBAC was, in my term, I thought in my opinion, I thought it had become stagnant. It was like, oh God, it's the same library we started with 8 years ago. And you're not bringing in like a lot of new stuff. Like my another one of those stories that is seared in my brain. We used to have music meetings once a week when people would just bring like, we should play this. Yeah. I brought in Interpol. The first Interpol album had come in. I'm like, listen to this, and I got laughed at.
What?
Yeah, yeah. I got laughed at.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh wow, am I that far? And then, and then obviously I left, and but that was like, that's what I was going to do with indie.
Yeah,
that just shows how far ahead of the curve you were, I guess.
Yeah. So I wind up. They were fine. They were okay with me programming Blue and indie, because I immediately took the job. I built a library right away of like 1,000 songs to start with. I think we went on the air with 1,000 songs. Mm-hmm. And then I was just like, every day I was pumping. Yeah. Your mom helped. I would like give her a stack of CDs and with sticky notes on, okay, burn these songs onto the hard drive.
I remember that.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And it was, because what we were going to do it the right way, because we had seen, we built a very modest studio. We were in this really cool historic building in the railway district, the rail yard down in Santa Fe. It was a standalone building, but it was historic. It was not going to be knocked down. We built a very modest studio in it, started broadcasting out of it, and we were in the black the first year because we did it right. We didn't spend a lot of money we traded all the equipment out, so we had nice equipment.
Right.
But we didn't blow a ton of money on it.
Yeah.
And
you turned a profit?
Yeah, we were in the black.
Yeah.
Things were looking really good, and then the whole deal with the owner went down. So we had the guy wanted $1 million for it, and we were just basically paying for a stick, the signal and the tower. Yeah. And we're like, well, we don't have $1 million to give you. He's like, okay, how about we do this? I'll lease it to you. We'll draw up a lease, and we'll draw up 2 leases. One first year, second year. And after the first year is done, we'll reconvene, we'll talk, and if you guys are happy, all parties are happy, we'll sign the second year lease. And at the end of the second year, and all the money was going to a purchase price. Mm-hmm. Which
is nice.
Yeah, which was nice. Yeah.
So working towards something.
In that tiny little sliver, I've told the story so many times, in that tiny little sliver between the first year lease expiring and the second, we were supposed to reconvene.
Yeah.
This other company called and said, we'll give you full purchase price right now. No exaggeration. Santa Fe found out about us selling the station on via the newspaper, the small Santa Fe newspaper, like on a Monday morning. And we didn't have a lot of people we didn't employ a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, people were calling and saying, I can't believe you sold us out. What? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Wait, listeners were saying that, or people working for the station?
Yeah, people working for the station. Okay. Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. What happened?
No. Wow, that's crazy.
And we tried to rally, because by then Blue had become, it was so bad that they were trying to unload it. Mm. And we're like, okay, let's hurry, and let's buy Blue. They wanted nothing for it. They wanted $300,000-$400,000 for it. And the same company that bought Indie had already bought Blue. They're like, I went to the guys, I'm like, listen, do me a solid here. You kind of gave me the shaft. Here's your chance at, kind of
rectifying that.
Yeah. Making it good.
Yeah.
And they're like, sorry, we've already signed the bottom line. And so as we sit here, I wound up with the intellectual property, and Indie's been streaming out of our house for
Yeah.
We're in our 19th year.
That's amazing.
Which
yeah,
is-
I said I don't make a red cent off
it's
of
just
it.
a passion
Yeah,
project
just
at this
Just a
point.
passion project. It's anything, any time of day, or I get in the car, I know there's something I want to listen to. I don't have to deal with playlists or anything because I know, and I play what I want to hear.
And you have listenership too. It's not like it's
A lot of Europe.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I
Germany, Switzerland. I don't know. I
That's
don't know
cool.
how did the word get over there.
Yeah.
I think it's just like
It probably means so
There's
much to
still
people over there.
a
They probably-
desire.
Yeah, maybe.
There's a desire in other parts of the world for that still. The original purpose of the radio of like hearing shit that you wouldn't normally hear.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't exist in America now. Like we're so fucked over here. Like if it's not a 10-second TikTok video, then it can't hold
Right.
our attention span. And we only like the things that other people tell us we should like. And if you like stuff that's out of the box, then like you kind of get, boxed out for it.
Absolutely.
And I think it's unfortunate, but I do think it's cool that the passion project still exists. We'll put a link.
Huge plug. Yeah, and
We'll
the
link
Am I
it.
going to get the podcadzo bump?
Yes, you're
it
going to
is
get the
coming your
podcadzo
way.
bump.
You're the proud
It's
recipient
coming, huh?
of a podcadzo bump today.
Because I would like nothing more than to have to like expand listening slots.
Oh yeah.
It's true.
Well, unfortunately, our major markets are in Europe too, so it sounds like you already have the bump there.
That's crazy.
I think there will
Yeah.
be at least a couple people who
Yeah.
go check it out because of this. And yeah, it is linked
No, I
down
think so,
below.
too.
So
Yeah.
go
and it
check
really,
it out.
Links here.
I touch it from about 6, sometimes 7 o'clock in the morning till about 6 o'clock at night. I go through every set of music is, and then after
curated.
that, I jokingly Otto takes it after that.
Yeah.
because I can't do it 12 hours a day.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
and I think it's impressive that you put in any time at all, really, because it could be really fully autonomous at this point.
I mean,
you
I
could
could
just load up
let
a
it go.
playlist and let it go and
Yeah.
do its thing, but there is still a human touch to it, which I think
Which is
is
very
why
comforting
it's
to
worth
know when you listen
listening
to it.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that someone's-
definitely.
It's
curating it.
that has always been that going back to the TCL days. I love a well thought out
Well,
set of music that
and it shows
music
like,
sets that make sense.
Totally.
Yeah,
No, and someone's actually
Right.
There's an art form to it.
Yeah, I
Right.
think you can tell someone who's like good at it apart from someone who's not, and like
Yeah, totally.
the flow of listening to the indie, the flow of everything is like very, very natural, and also goes all over the place. Like
Yeah.
it'll go from like hip hop rap to like Americana in like 30 minutes, but
Yeah.
like in a way that makes sense. And I guess the only final thought I really had about indie specifically was the idea that you're still somewhat getting free stuff from the industry in one way or another.
yeah. So that's the one thing that they really believe in. They know where people are getting their music. So I stepped on you. Go.
Well, no,
finish your thought.
that was perfect. I was just gonna say, like, why do you think they do that? Like, why do you think you still are getting
Well, 'cause
anything from anyone?
They see that I'm playing bands that nobody's getting any airplay.
Right.
Traditional terrestrial radio isn't playing. Sans, like maybe KCRW, and there are the beacons. There's still the beacons
Yeah, some
out
people
there.
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got the I don't even know if Portland has a station anymore. Or, there used to be Kink up there in the northwest, and
KRF,
the WRLTs
Yeah.
and the WBCNs and
KRFC Portland,
KRFC is the Fort Collins one.
or what's KEXP? Sorry.
Yeah,
yeah, that's
is
it. Yeah,
Portland.
KEXP. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the one.
And they
Still.
rely very heavily on an internet presence now too. It's
Yeah.
not just
No,
like
KXP
radio
is
is
big
the
for a
only
lot of
thing
people,
that
yeah.
Yeah, that live music space they have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that they do the video for. So yeah, I mean, and literally, it's whittled down to just I get the occasional pair of tickets thrown at me now,
Yeah.
and I have to ask for them.
Right.
But yeah,
it's still
like I said, the other music, the music is straight, just hear the audio to play.
For sure.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Well, we covered.
That was pretty much the whole shebang.
Wow.
Really summed up.
Yeah.
Well, not really summed up. I think we still got a pretty good peek behind the curtain there.
I could easily throw like 30 more bands at you. So
Well,
we have to
do it next time.
Well,
Please
yeah,
come on again.
I think next time should be more music, just talking about bands and stuff, less about the industry. But I did want to get the industry.
We got to do these.
Oh, yeah.
So this, I'm going to start with you. This is kind of is like a running joke. I don't know if you'd even call it a running joke. He had mentioned Neil Young several months ago. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And we were listening because we frequently listen to you guys during dinner. Mom will put it on the phone and we'll listen while we're eating dinner. We're not like a TV on during dinner kind of.
Yeah.
And you said, you went on into about Neil Young and you were listening, and I'm like, he's never listened to Neil Young. This is such bullshit. And I emailed him basically that. I mean,
it's
it was
interesting that's where you draw the line on my bullshit.
Now he's crossed the line.
I'm like, damn it, I'm gonna say something. Because Neil Young. I mean, he's always been there, but I definitely have. I mean, I don't think I own, but I think I have the Pearl Jam album with the live one.
Yeah, Mirrorball.
I got into
or whatever.
Neil Young
Yeah.
because of that Jack White podcast that we listened to on the way to Santa Fe, the Broken Record podcast.
I don't remember
he
that.
talks a lot about really getting
listened
into
to-
Harvest Moon.
Yeah. And I mean, and I know Neil's done some incredible, but it's like he's like driving away. He's doing that like, and then slows down where you think you're going to get in the car, and then he speeds off, and it's like new album.
True.
And then he slows down and he speeds new album. It's like it's impossible to.
Yeah.
Like he did
Give
that
us some
album with
time.
Rick Rubin. Was it Earth or something? I don't know.
Something like that.
It was
sounds right. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
and I'm like, I'm gonna go listen, and then like, I'm exaggerating, but like 3 days later, there's a new Neil Young album out. I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
stop it,
Give us a chance.
give us a
Neil.
chance to digest.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is Julian's. This is
Nice.
Landing on water.
I think on water.
probably one of the worst Neil Young albums. So bad that I'm almost positive this is the record that his own label sued him for. He turned this in, and Geffen
The
Records
album
was
is
like,
literally a plane crash.
This is unacceptable.
yeah. So, but like so much of my vinyl collection, it's got this
It's
promo
got
stamp
the
on it.
watermark
So
on it.
I looked, and this record is worth nothing, unfortunately.
Is it? Have you ever?
I mean, I
played
would
it
have given it
before?
to you anyway, but
Yeah.
I'm like, God, I wonder if this is worth anything, because this usually like increases the value of a record,
sure, yeah, it's
because
special.
it's the hype sticker. But yeah, so
Has
this
it ever been on a turntable before?
yeah, it's been on the turntable once or twice. I actually do love
yeah. Wait, show me the track list.
Weight of the World. For some reason, has always stuck with me. And then the critics, when the album was new, everybody loved Hippie Dream.
Hippie Dream is
Dream.
still in his
Yeah.
like most popular stream songs.
Oh, okay. All right.
If
yeah.
you go, it's not at the top, but it's if you go
It's up
back
there.
for a ways.
Yeah. So that belongs to you now. And now I feel really bad. I wish I would have brought you something. I will
well,
next time.
amazing.
You're going to get something
brought
amazing.
a gift at
But
all.
for today, you get this really cool Space Shuttle
Oh,
album.
rad.
I have no idea what this is.
Look at that picture disc.
It is a picture disc.
Yeah.
And it's got this cool stamp
Where-
that means
Camera.
absolutely
Do you
nothing.
know what year you would have acquired this?
Columbia Engel Truly. on
When
the
did you
back
get
here.
this?
I do not remember. I think it was in a group of records that somebody
Have you ever put
gave
that
me.
on a
No,
turntable
I've never put that
with
on
a
a
picture
turntable
disc?
either.
Jesus.
I'm
Yeah.
very excited to experience whatever this is.
I'm dying to, yeah.
Oh my god, the
I'm
backside
dying
of
to
it's
know
actually so cool. Turn
Yeah.
it around.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
This is rad. I'm very excited to listen
Put
to this.
that on your wall if
Thanks, Sam.
nothing else.
Yeah, seriously.
You'll get
Great art.
something serious next time.
Kid
Well,
Yeah.
stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think it was out of a bunch of records somebody gave me. Like, yeah, here's a bunch of records somebody gave me. I don't want them.
Uh-huh.
You want them, and it wound up being a pretty good group of records. But yeah. So
kid stuff.
There you go.
Phono picture disc.
Wow.
Well, Sam, thank you very much.
I would say
for
this was the perfect episode. We've never both received a gift before.
You were the perfect guest.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
there's the
we
first.
really appreciate you being on Podcadzo.
Thanks
for having
time.
me, guys.
Yes. Thanks everyone for listening.
See you next time.
Good night.
It's podcadzo.